Good evening. My name is Cameron Owen. I'm going to be continuing the affirmative case for why tenure should be abolished. So once again, we believe tenure should be abolished because it has a negative effect on our education system, because it protects poorly performing teachers from being fired, and by abolishing tenure, we will be able to improve the U.S. educational system. In a study performed by Daniel Weisberg and documented in the article Religion Effect, they found both teachers and administrators recognize ineffective teachers in their school. 58% of those teachers and 81% of those administrators agree with that. They also have a study in Arkansas, Colorado, Illinois, and Ohio, where they asked teachers across those districts that whether they believe there was a tenured teacher that should be dismissed in their school for poor performance, and over 43% of those teachers in those districts agreed. So the negative side claimed that there was a fairly low percentage of bad teachers who had tenure, where most of the teachers in these districts felt that there were multiple teachers who were performing poorly within their school, let alone many more in their district. Going into the actual costs of everything, it costs too much time and money to dismiss tenured teachers for committing serious crimes. In an article from North Carolina, they had an example where a case took 13 years in litigation and cost the Ann Arbor Public Schools in excess of $350,000 in back pay and attorney fees just for an ex-teacher who's in prison for murder during the whole trial and the whole process that went along with that. So they had to still pay that teacher even though that teacher was not teaching anymore, but because they were tenured, they had to continue paying them until their due process was solved. The negative side also claimed that academic growth was seen in educators who had tenure. In a study done by the Illinois School Board from Thomas Kirsten, they found that school board presidents disagree with that. A percentage of 46 school board presidents felt that teacher tenure does not ensure academic freedom. And in an example from a university in Florida where they have many non-tenure track faculty that serve the purpose of A, saving them money, and B, getting them money in a roundabout way. So what they do is they hire non-tenure track professors to help with the flux of student demand as well as stay within their allocated budget for the year. And those certain non-tenure track professors end up bringing in other allocations from other institutions that are funding them for research. And through these awards, the school is able to do more research without actually increasing their budget. And this allows them to also spend less money since this faculty member is not tenured. So once they're done with them, and once the student demand goes down, they can either let them go or move them to a different part of the school. The negative side also claims that tenure exists to provide due process, and while that is true, current labor laws make tenure's due process law a bit redundant. When tenure first came around, say like 100 years ago, there was no anti-discrimination laws or laws against employer abuses. So through those laws, due process, as cited in an article from Alan Greenblatt called "Is Teacher Tenure Still Necessary?" He talks about how the larger legal framework that is in place today is allowing teachers to be protected in ways other than just through tenure. And talking about fairness and due process, you could say that tenure does discriminate against teachers in their probationary period. So while teachers have their 2 or 3 years, or in some cases 5 years of a probationary period before they're actually hired by the school, it's a fairly rigorous time for them. They have to go under a lot of scrutiny from the school officials. And because of that, a few people feel, and in an article from Some Implications of Tenure for the Profession and Society by Ernst Benjamin, he feels that women are discriminated against through this, because through the probationary tracks, if you say have multiple people all in the probationary stage and there's only one tenureship position open, they're going to look at those people, and if it's a woman who's possibly in childbearing years and they want to start a family, they'll go ahead and hire the guy because they know in 1, 2, however many years down the road, they're not going to go have to pay for them to have maternity leave. Which brings me to the amount of money, or not the amount, excuse me, the amount of evaluation that does not go on in schools. So in the same school district from the Widget Effect, they found that the schools in Illinois were not investing enough time evaluating their teachers. So the teachers who were in the probationary period were evaluated basically every year, or sometimes even more than that, and teachers with tenure were evaluated less than that, and sometimes they'd go 2, 3 years without being evaluated. And then when it comes time to fire somebody or want to fire somebody, they have no evaluations of that teacher who is tenured, and that just wastes more time trying to create a case to fire that particular teacher who had tenure. Thank you.